You are one of the oldest elves living in Middle-earth. You have been alive for so long that you no longer remember anything about your childhood. You live during a time when the sun has not yet risen, and people live by starlight. That is the earliest event you can recall. Morgoth, or Melkor as he is truly known, begins to enslave the elves. 13 elves are chosen. They promise you rebirth. You too are deceived this way. So how does this happen? Morgoth attacks the elves. He burns and destroys. He chooses some of the elves. You are among them. They take you captive. They chain you to a nameless dark hill and leave you there. They condemn you to endless hunger and thirst. You are kept on that dark hill for days. Then he comes, Sauron, Morgoth's apprentice. He appears to you for the first time. His face is very beautiful. He manages to draw you in at first sight. Sauron gives you some red wine. You are so thirsty you are on the verge of dying, so you drink it. This wine will transform you from within. You don't know it's a magical wine. Sauron deceives you for the first time, and you aren't even aware of it. You think he is helping you and saving you, but that isn't the case. He turns you into one of the first living orcs. Sauron, the torturer, deceives you by playing the role of a savior, a classic case of Stockholm Syndrome. From that day on, you serve as Sauron's lieutenant for a long time. You live in a system that views orcs as mere expendable soldiers. Over time, you begin to be repulsed by Sauron's cruelty toward the orcs because you see them as your own children. You can't bear to see them treated as disposable commodities. No matter how much the darkness consumes you, there is always a light somewhere deep inside. Sauron will eventually realize this. That's why you have to do something. Morgoth is winning victory after victory, and Sauron is growing stronger alongside him. But this won't last forever. In Middle-earth, the Valar's army defeats Morgoth and imprisons him in darkness. Sauron has been fighting alongside Morgoth, but when he realizes defeat is inevitable, he flees, taking Morgoth's crown with him. He wants to fill the void left by Morgoth. He wants to become the new Lord of Darkness. But finally, the moment you've been waiting for arrives, the coronation. Sauron wants to wear Morgoth's stolen crown in the Great Hall. His greatest soldier, his lieutenant, his right-hand man, will place the crown on his head. That man is you, Adar. This is how he will become the new Lord of Darkness. You devise a plan with the orcs who are your children. Sauron will no longer be able to use them. You don't want a new Morgoth. The coronation begins. Sauron enters the hall. One of his children, Gorus, attacks him. But Sauron notices him and instantly destroys him. He delivers a harsh, terrifying speech. There are exactly 500 people in the hall, but it is as silent as a graveyard. You stand holding the crown, waiting to place it on Sauron's head. Sauron finally bows his head for Morgoth's crown. You hold the crown in your hand, and Sauron has taken the bait. Morgoth's crown is a very powerful weapon, and now it is in your hands. Without a moment's hesitation, you strike Sauron in the neck with Morgoth's crown. Your children, the orcs, join the attack. Sauron looks at you, and in that moment, there is fear in his eyes. At last, you and your children have destroyed the Lord of Darkness. No one will ever be able to use you and your children again and cast you aside. For the first time, you feel free. This feeling is real, and it belongs to you. The hall echoes with your children's cries of freedom. Shouts ring out for Gorus. But Middle-earth is not a suitable place for orcs to live. The sun scorches them. That's why you have to find a place where they can live. The southern lands are the most suitable place. Of course, you'll have to transform it first. You take action to seize that land. The orcs are digging tunnels. You know the terrain is easy. There are no soldiers, so it can be taken easily. It doesn't take you long to seize the southern lands. These people had once served Morgoth. Now they'll serve you. You have the orcs dig tunnels. You seize the sword hilt. It is a key. Inserted into the lock, it will release the underground waters. The waters will follow the tunnels and flow into the Orodruin volcano. The dormant volcano will erupt, and the region will become a perfect habitat for the orcs. Thus, it will take the name Mordor. The plan is working flawlessly. The southern lands are defenseless. You are taking them all. A few elven guards will resist, but it will be an easy battle. On the day of the battle, you plant the seeds of Alfirin. This is the only thing left within you that is elven. The battle is easily won, and the second phase of your plan begins. Meanwhile, the Númenóreans arrive with a large army, led by Lady Galadriel. You lose this second battle. You are taken prisoner by Galadriel. She wants to interrogate you. All she wants is to destroy Sauron. You tell her everything, and she believes you. but she cannot believe that Sauron is dead. When Sauron was Morgoth's commander, he destroys Galadriel's brother. To buy enough time, you tell her the true story. Meanwhile, your children are working on phase 2 of the plan. Finally, that sound comes. The water is released and flows into the volcano. You manage to escape during the eruption. When the dust cloud clears, Mordor is revealed, your children's new home, a dark realm where they can live without fear of sunlight. One day, it will be the place where the One Ring will be destroyed. Just when you think everything is over, the inevitability of victory makes you feel at peace. Now, however, you have a new purpose: to protect your children. You have a good plan for this. Galadriel plants a seed of doubt in your mind. She mentions that Sauron always has a plan. That's why, if this were to happen, you have to be strong enough to protect your children. And for that, you need Morgoth's crown and Galadriel's ring, Nenya. Your children are ready to do whatever you say. They know you are fighting for them. Sauron, disguised as Halbrand and Irigen, tricks Celebrimbor into forging the Rings of Power. Upon learning this, you lead your army out of Mordor and march on Irigen. On your way, you take Galadriel captive. She is exhausted after the explosion. You have dinner with her. You speak of your shared hatred for Sauron. You tell her that you have the crown. Galadriel says that the ring Nenya is with Elrond, who has come to Irigen with his army. Galadriel offers you a partnership to destroy Sauron, but you have to act independently of her plan, because if Sauron is destroyed, High King Gil-galad could attack Mordor. Galadriel argues otherwise. She says this is Sauron's plan, but you don't listen. You send your army to Irigen to fight. At night, you begin bombarding the city with catapults. The goal is to trigger a landslide and dry up the river protecting Irigen. You succeed. The plan is going very well. Elrond comes to negotiate Galadriel's release. You offer her life in exchange for Nenya. Elrond refuses. A battle that will last all night begins in the dry riverbed. Casualties mount rapidly. Your second-in-command, Glug, tells you the losses are too high and unnecessary. But you know it is necessary. You have to do it for the safety of your children. For the first time, the Orcs are fighting for themselves. By morning, your children breach the wall and enter the city. You personally lead the assault. You give the order to exterminate them all. But Elrond and High King Gil-galad survive. This comes at the cost of very heavy losses. At the same time, you mourn for your children. Finally, you seize Galadriel's ring, Nenya. You instantly return to your former appearance, thanks to the ring's healing power. When the Orcs are out of sight, you reveal your true form to Galadriel. You promise Galadriel that if Sauron is defeated, you will withdraw your army to Mordor and never attack the peoples of Middle-earth again. You return the ring to Galadriel, and instantly, your true form fades back into the Orc. Just then, Glug, feigning a serious injury, approaches you with a group of Orcs. You immediately want to help him. You feel an overwhelming sense of sympathy and compassion for your children. That's why you don't notice. Glug approaches you and drives his knife into you. The other children join the attack. You are in shock. Galadriel is in shock too. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes, and Sauron enters the hall. When Glug enters the city, he encounters Sauron and bows down to him. Sauron has tasked him with betraying you. As you lie on the ground, Sauron stares down at you. They're just Orcs. You read too much into them, let your emotions get the better of you, and that is your undoing. As a result, Irigen falls. Celebrimbor, Rian, Commander Malindol, and Merdania lose their lives. Elrond leads the surviving elves north and founds Imladris, that is, Rivendell. Sauron seizes all the rings of power except for the 3. He becomes the new master of the Orcs. In the end, he succeeds in becoming the Lord of Darkness. Your attempt to save your children also fails. In the end, it results in you handing them over to the very person they were trying to escape. Despite your love and compassion for them, they betray you, their father. So, if you were in my place, what would you have done? Would you have loved them anyway? Or was Sauron right? Are they just Orcs? Don't forget to share your valuable thoughts in the comments. Take care until we meet again.